So, how did I get to where I am today? I began with a career in academia. I was a mathematician. I did a PhD in maths, and I studied at Cambridge University, and then I did some postdocs, Cambridge and Southampton, and then back in Cambridge again. So I started out doing stochastic network modeling, and then branched out into knowledge agent systems, and kind of I sort of started doing some game theory, some AI stuff, but after I'd done 3 postdocs, I didn't quite make it to the next level of my academic career. I didn't become so in the UK here it would be a lecturer, but in the US it would be a sort of like an assistant professor or whatever. I realized I was getting to that point. I was getting to the age where I kind of should be moving on, and I think I hadn't ever been, because I moved my focus around a little bit, I hadn't ever really got fully established in an area. And also it's quite hard. It's hard to make that transition from being a postdoc to becoming like a faculty staff member. So as I kind of saw this looming up to at that time period in my career, I was starting my last postdoc. I realized it might be my last postdoc, and I had tried to sort of get more senior positions before getting that one. As that was coming up, I spent some time kind of diversifying my skills and understanding. I taught myself more about coding, programming. So I looked into what it would take to become like a software engineer, and do sort of technical work. I had previously worked for 6 months as an engineer at a company called Cambridge Consultants. That was so there was some more sort of theoretical work. We mainly programmed in MATLAB. It's sort of prototyping things. Yeah, so I kind of tried to learn a bit more about programming in general, become more of an expert. And yeah, after I finished that work, I was looking for a position. I was excited about working in machine learning, and there was a spin-out company from the Cambridge University engineering department that I was a member of during the postdoc. They were looking for people, and I interviewed, and I joined a startup quite early on. And it turns out that I was actually I suited startup life and programming, and then later management quite well. And so in a very small startup environment, if you take the initiative and you simply listen to what needs to be done and do it, then you become in charge of that thing. And that allows you to expand your responsibilities and get experience doing things that you might not get to do in another company, because it's much less restricted. It's very much a sink or swim kind of environment. But if you're, it's a good way to kind of if you come from academia, often especially someone I did maths, so I had the mental ability to do a lot of things, but not sort of the technical knowledge and the job experience. So anyway, the startup went well. We got acquired by Apple, and now I'm managing people inside Siri, and have a few years of management experience in a machine learning team for a kind of big company. So there's a huge sort of change in my career trajectory, and for me the big break was doing the startup. That's before I did the startup, it would have been quite hard to get a similar position. People see sort of a PhD is kind of useful if it's extremely relevant. So if I had a machine learning PhD, it might be easier to get a machine learning job. But even here within this company where we're interviewing people, a maths PhD is not taken quite the same way. Somebody who hasn't got industry experience isn't looked at quite as favorably. But what I found was that a lot of the things you need to know to be a good software engineer are actually they're not that hard to pick up if you've got the right mind for it. If you've got a very good technical mind, you're good at picking up things quickly. But I think it does help to actually do some of the research beforehand if you want to make that transition into industry, and do some of the groundwork. These days, the environment, the job market is good for, there's loads of internships and lots of different companies. That's something that's really valuable to do. You can do internships with a professional body, and you can get experience. It looks great in your CV, and you'll probably get contacts who will probably want to hire you. Because I hire people, so I can speak from experience. If I work with someone during an internship and I know they're good, then I'm very keen to hire them. Because when you hire someone, it's random, they'll turn out. And it's not always easy to get rid of someone. So you want to hire good people.